Now, hi everyone. I am Frank or Fran or Franny or Frankie or whatever you want to call me. You can give me a new name. That's me. I use they them their pronouns. I am 18. I am a drag queen, an artist, all kinds of stuff. And Melora. Now. Hi everyone.
Sorry. um, like Piranha said, my name is
I
Melora.
can't hear you. Oh, never mind. I muted myself on accident. Sorry, go ahead.
Um, like Piranha said, my name is Melora. I use she, her sorry, I said her twice. She, her, hers pronouns. Um, I am 17, but I'll be 18 in a couple weeks. So finally, it's been too
Early
long.
birthday.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and besides all that, I am an intersectional feminist. I am a person of color and an ally, a creative, and a vocalist. So, yeah, that's all.
Yeah, and so we do this through Quarry Press Institute, which is a printing press in Tucson, Arizona, a feminist printing press, which you probably know if you're watching this because it is on the Quarry Press Institute YouTube. So that's that. We blah blah blah. Our opinions are our own and not Quarry Press's. There you go. So this week we are going to be talking about methods of advocacy, how to care for yourself and other people and protect yourself and other people, and talking about that within activism. I'm kind of feeling sick of that word. You know, I feel like
Activism?
it's like activism kind of like lost its I don't know. It leaves a sour taste in my mouth at this point. But community work and the yada yada, the whole shebang. Um, so we're gonna be talking about like being a good ally and advocate and what that looks like, and also what it looks like to be part of those communities and taking care of yourself and other people. Um, yeah, let's jump right into it. What you got? What you got for me today, Melora?
I'm good. um, I don't know. Ugh. I mean, I came prepared to talk, but if you have something to prepare, if you have something prepared, like a presentation, I'm all ears.
I don't. I have talking points and
Okay. What are your talking points?
brain stuff.
What are
So
the points?
what's
LOL.
the point? I separated it. I separated it by methods of advocacy, how to care for blank, and and protect blank. So I used the title and separated it into three sections. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I did it, and my talking points are just like I don't know. Let's just get into it. Why not? I mean, let's start with like methods of advocacy, and I'm really interested to hear your um, opinions on this because it is such a touchy subject, and we constantly hear these phrases in you know leftist, feminists, whatever circles that we're in, that like we need to speak up on things, but we also not need to like not speak over people, but we also need to like learn when to step back, and we also need to learn how to take space. And I think a lot of people do not know what they are supposed to do and when, and so they don't do anything, which I think is
Yeah.
not good. And like we've talked about previously, like you need to be prepared to make mistakes and be prepared to be told you made a mistake.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like rubbing lotion in my hands because my hands are really dry.
No, you're
So
fine.
if you see my hands, that's what I'm doing.
Every live, you have to put on like either with some kind of you have to put on some kind of moisturizing item.
I hate when my hands are dry and I hate it when my lips are dry. So I have chapstick and I have hand lotion.
You know, I don't think anybody quite enjoys those things. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. I feel like we used to be so much worse at getting back on track. I feel like we do so much better now because we used to go on like the train would just be off the tracks completely.
The brain.
Go. The episode
Yeah.
would be about like I don't know. It would be we would be talking about I don't know what the topic we talked about. We talked about like idols at one point, but then like the topic would just be like, and now we're talking about like whatever made us angry this week, and like never get that. But now I think we do better. But anyway, I want to know what you think. Like, I think we should. I think in this live we should talk about and like make specific points. Like, here's when you need to say something, do something, and here's when you need to like step back and leave the space. Um, I think we should make like a this is when, this is when. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like I don't know. Yeah, no, I get you. Sorry. I'm like, if I interrupt you, it's because my brother messed up one side of my headphones. So I can't really like this earbud is like not working well. But I don't know. I feel like there's like so many different things that you can do, but in regards of like staying in your lane, I feel like there's like many things that I could say that might be a bit touchy.
Go
Like
for it. I think that's like what
I yeah, like I don't know. I follow this person on Instagram, Amanda Seals, and um I believe I know that she like recently came out with like I think she has like an audio book as well as like her own little like show type thing and podcast. But I believe she's also an actress. I want to say I feel like yeah, but anyway, she's black and the reason why I say that is because around the time I remember she like posted something on her story of like people DMing her about like what her and the black community can do, and it was from like other POC.
uh-huh.
You know, like there was like an Asian chick that messaged in her DMs, and Amanda is like very hardcore with like activism. um, is very hardcore with activism and posts a lot of things on her story and on her feed with like just anything really, like you know when obviously like Black Lives Matter as well as the stuff that's been going on in Palestine, well between Palestine and Israel, like the most like recent things that we were made aware of because it's been going on for decades obviously what's happening in Palestine. But yeah, posting about that as well as stuff that happened when when AAPI hate crimes were like more prevalent, like around that time specifically, as well as when the bill passed. Like there was there's an Asian chick and then like her DMs telling her what she and her people could do like better. And then she also posted a DM from a Mexican dude who was saying that like black people need to get a handle on like black on black crime as well as like I don't know, because he was like robbed by black people. And that just, you know, apparently signifies like the entire black community. And I don't know, like, I just think that whenever you're another POC, it becomes very problematic when you want like when you yourself are like weirdly prejudiced towards other races, yet you want those same like races to help you
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like, it's kind of like, I don't mean it in like a bad way. I just like, well, actually, it is bad, but sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. It is bad. I just think that you can't really tell like other people like how they should advocate, I guess, unless it's like something that's very serious, I would say. Like just like telling people in general to like, protest or post something on your story, or which are methods, by the way. So of activism and whatnot. And like, calling senators, calling your representatives in Congress, sending letters to people, actively volunteering, like, calling like local police stuff and like telling them that like, blah 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 has done this, like as in like cops, like certain cops, whatever.
this
um
reminded me. Okay,
but
noted in my head. Just you. No, no, no. I'm not gonna. No, I'm sorry to interrupt you. It just
okay.
reminded me of something, and then I was like,
No, you're all
let me
good.
catch the thought.
You're
No,
totally
what you
fine.
were saying first. I
You're
totally
totally,
understood. That was very rude.
yeah. No, you're totally fine. I just think that like you can't, like, it's just kind of like difficult for, I'm not saying that like, oh, because that one person in Amanda's like DMs was saying whatever, that means that we should totally just not support anyone in the API community, or like, the Mexican community. But like at the same time, it's like you can't come into someone's DMs as if they're like a representative of like their entire race and tell them, their people, as quoted in the DM, like what they should do, because it's like, that just makes it seem like you're not doing what you need to be doing for the other race POC around you either. When you're telling like POC what they need, the other POC groups, what they need to be doing for your particular POC group,
Yeah.
like it just doesn't click, and it's not cool, especially when you have like weird prejudice statements like you and your people.
Right. There's. I mean, yeah. Unfortunately, there's a lot of racism from every group of people towards, you know, black people, and that's and it's like a, I mean, that's, I think, what you were kind of touching on when you said like that, like kind of a sensitive thing, but it's like important to like see and like be able to be like, that's a thing that's happening. Um, and yeah, that's a lot. But
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's
the,
just like, oh,
okay,
sorry. No, I was just going to say that, like, yeah, it's just like problematic on many levels, because there's just like, I don't know, it's just like people are unaware that like they're being prejudiced when they say it. And I think that unfortunately,
also black on black crime isn't it? We should just put that out.
yeah, like, yeah, exactly. Like stuff like that. Like that's not cool, and that's very like prejudiced and weird. But unfortunately, in those types of situations, like a lot of people like are hesitant to call out certain POC when they say problematic stuff like that,
Yeah,
because then some people then utilize their own identity as a defense when it's like, no, you're being prejudiced.
yeah.
Like it's not like, because like, but I don't know.
Be queer people.
Again, some people are just not ready to have that conversation, but
People I know who have said like things and then been like,
yeah.
I'm queer, so I'm
Yeah, like yeah.
racist.
Yeah, it's like unfortunately some people are not ready to have that conversation. But
Queer people like try to bring that up as a defense all the time, and it like they like there's like just this huge disconnect that like, oh my god, there's like literally even within queer communities things have been severely segregated since forever. Like it's just like baffling. But oh, the thing that I was gonna say was, did you see a while ago? 'Cause I was thinking about when you were saying like talking, like calling like the police about certain things. Did you see that thing that was okay? So in Tucson, there was a poster that was being circulated. I was like, that can't be real. That's like too crazy to be real. But it was like, um, it was called, what was it called? Not like, it was like survive the stop or something like that. And it was a you're gonna this is like I like when I saw this and when I was like that's not real, and then I looked it up and it was real, and I was like jaw dropped. It was survival stop. It was the police were going to come to the Boys and Girls Club to teach people how to not be killed by cops when they get pulled over.
I'm sorry, this is in Tucson?
In Tucson.
Ew.
It,
What? By the way, this is what sets us off. LOL. Just in
yeah.
the Boys and Girls Club. What?
And it was like by the police. I'm like, well, you know what? You could just not kill people. That's
It's
like
the fact that they are just doing that as if killing is acceptable by them as well. It's like, by the way, like, even though we kill people without consequence, this is how you don't get killed by us. And there's no consequences even if we do end up murdering you. But, hey.
It was like,
that's so crazy.
Like, you need to
I did not know this. My brother is in the Boys and Girls Club.
I don't know, but
that's so scary. My brother's in the Boys and Girls Club.
It was on like a lot, like it was being shared a lot.
When was this?
This was like last month.
Oh my god!
And it was shared so many times, and like people found the numbers to call at the Boys and Girls Club, or I can't remember. It was somebody who was like organizing the event, and it was over. Like they canceled it like immediately after. So it does sometimes work to call people. Usually, I'm gonna be honest. I do not do anything with the government. I don't message them. I don't call them. I don't send them mail because I know that they throw that shit away. Pardon me, but that's like I went that route for a while when I was like starting and things, and I appreciate the sentiment of people doing that. I'm sure something's probably been done through that at some point, but in my experience, I've called and called and called places for numerous different things and never has anything been done.
Yeah.
Called, sent mail, sent emails. So now I'm on like so many like different email lists for so many different like organizations and different like politicians and stuff that I have to like block their emails. It's terrible, but anyway, that's not my method. And something that I will say along that, getting back on track, because I've just been rambling. There was something that I wrote down about this, is like a lot of the time, people who are trying to be good allies, good advocates, whatever, will get the information that they are getting on what people need comes from the government articles, comes from organizations, like major big organizations. The example I'll give is people really love like the human rights campaign, the HRC, and will be like, I read the HRC article on how to be a good ally, so now I'm a good ally. And will be like, oh, and corporations and things like that. So like where there is like money being handled. So in big organizations, they're getting money from people, getting grants and things. So there are certain things that they can't say. They are also usually very problematic and like just not doing anything. And so, get your information from the source, like get your information from actual people in the community, but the information is all out there. Anything that you want to know, you can find the information. Don't ask your brown friends, your queer friends, your disabled friends, your whatever friends to tell you, to educate you. You can figure that information out on your own. Unless you're gonna give them money. Anyways,
Pay them for
If you
info.
send me $5, you can ask me any question you want. I can't guarantee.
Up the price. Up the price. $20
Absolutely,
for
you're right.
info.
$15. I want
20
$15
bucks.
per question.
I want $20 so I can tell you what website to use, and you can go from there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be like, and I googled your question. Here is my Google result.
That'll be $50. Charge people for when they want info.
Yeah, you
charge them.
Absolutely.
Charge them 2021.
Well, absolutely. Or a price.
Normalize charging people when they want info from you about your community.
Sending me money. I think that, I mean, honestly, that is a great form of advocacy. If you can't, you should just donate your money places. The majority, I mean, I am broke, but I still do it. If you really can't do it, donate your time, whatever time you do have. Like, I know everybody's got stuff going on, but there is always a way to find ways to actually do direct work in the community. Anyone can do it. You just got to figure out how to do it. I'm telling you, like, when I say everyone can do it, I mean everyone can do it. Like, I mean, lately, I mean, like, I'm like 5 different places at once in my brain, but it really is something that everyone can do, you know. And so that's the number one method of advocacy in my book is direct action. You just got to figure out what is needed, where can I do this, and just do it. There's like 5,000 bajillion, quadrillion different organizations, groups, people just doing things. I mean, like, there are so many little things that you could do that can completely change how somebody's day is going. Like, there's a food pantry down the street from me. If I have an extra thing of whatever, I'll go drop it by the food pantry. There's like free books over there. There's like in every neighborhood I see these things popping up, and like you can build your own, you can do whatever. Like, it's like doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to like expend like all of your time, your money, your resources into this. But like just do like that is like really the only way that I see an impact. Like I think that like everything isn't like we can do all of the things. We can contact people, we can have protests, we can do all of these things, but it's like also the caring and protecting one another that is really important. So, you know, those are part of that, but I think like the direct action of like actually being there, actually physically doing things, physically being there for people. I'm being so vague right now.
You're totally fine.
You're like way too long, Laura.
You're totally fine.
Dude.
Like, I mean, I agreed. I mean, there's definitely a lot of different things you can do. I mean, I don't know. I could do more, but I don't know. I mean, I worry enough. Like, it's just so sad because, like, I definitely feel like at this point, there should just be so many different changes. But all I'm seeing in the news is that Jeff Bezos wants to go to space and is abandoning his post at like Amazon as chief. And I'm like, what is it with white men in space completely ignoring the fact that there's like so many things they could be donating their money to like, and still be rich? It's like, I'm abandoning everything, even though I'm not trained as an astronaut, to go into space. It's like, you know, why? Like, what even is the company that your spaceship is from? Like, why? Like, what is it? Like, what is Blue, whatever it's called? Like, it's like Blue Charger or some crap like that. I don't know. It's something blue. Like, and he's going with his brother. And I'm like, you do understand that, like, there's so many things that you could be doing with your money right now and you'd still be rich, like super rich. Which is the thing that people don't understand.
They give every single Amazon employee, it's like and something $1,000 and still be as rich as he was pre-COVID.
That's exactly my point, but people just want more and more and more. It's like they've already have so much that now the only thing they can do is go off Earth. They've gone too far now. Now they want to go beyond that limit. They want to go beyond the sky.
Idea of $100,000 in my brain, like it makes me like shake. I'm like, oh my god, that is so much money. Oh my god.
Makes you
I
shake.
if somebody I'm like if somebody was
I don't know why that's making
hundred
me
thousand
laugh.
dollars, I would like be like sobbing, like, oh my god,
I
this
don't
is
know why
like
that makes me laugh.
this is the best thing that's ever happened. Like, and
Yeah.
it just literally $100,000. He like could eat that and poop it out and like not even bat an eye. Like
Yeah. Yeah, but
he is so crazy. That
yeah. I just think like I don't know. On one hand, I think the thing that makes me sad the most is that like I see rich people like celebrities and all the time just like I don't know. Like, yeah, like some of them go to protests, some of them post a square on their Instagram, that's all they ever post. Some post links, some have like websites, some are actively still being whatever. And then there are some who just like I said, post a black square and then go on going to restaurants every night in their like Lambo. And then people it's like I mean people can call me jealous because I feel like that's everyone's natural response for some odd reason is like get a job blah 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 instead of being so bored and crapping on them or just like you're jealous because they're successful. I'm like I'm not even jealous of these people. It's the fact that they can just protest and then like act as if that was like another life and then continue to go to like Turks and Caicos like 5 times a year or more on their private jet and just chill as if the world isn't ending. I'm like, you do understand that climate change is gonna like, I don't know, do whatever. But yeah, that's one thing I will say about whatever in regards to our topic is like we can as my mom always tells me, all of our faves are problematic. She tells me this all the time. All your faves are problematic in one way or the other. And that rings true. It's like, I mean, like I don't know. So
I
just
mean,
never forget that.
I
I
think
think it's a oh sorry.
no, you're saying, just I was just like gonna add on to that like I mean it's like we've talked about it previously with like our episode on idol worship. Which is just like so dangerous. Like it's just very dangerous to see people as better than other people based on like their power, which is like seems like joy, but that is not.
Yeah.
And just like you're allowed to enjoy things. Oh my gosh, I you're allowed to enjoy things. You're allowed to enjoy things that are problematic. I know I do. I can't help it. I enjoy it, and I'm gonna. There's only so much time in the world. Like you might as well enjoy things. Like it doesn't really if you're not hurting other people, if it's not like I say this, but also like things like I mean, a lot of people have been talking about like the Chick-fil-A thing, which has always been like a thing that makes me so mad. Like if you eat at Chick-fil-A, I'm very mad at you. Like that kind
Oh
of
my
stuff.
god.
If you are
I
actively
can't even remember the last time I ate at Chick-fil-A. Must have been years ago.
going through shows and music, TV, things like that are problematic, I'm like they're making
Yeah.
like you know that on Spotify they make like 0.00007 cents per listen. So like when people are like, you can't listen to music by bad people because they're gonna make money, I'm like, but but are they though? um,
Yeah. I just think like sorry, in regard to what I was saying in like relation to like rich people in this topic and like celebrities, I feel like one method in like wellness, since that's also something we're talking about on here, is like I don't know, I just think that like people are so focused on trying to like become like these like rich, like, you know, unfortunately snobby people, that like they don't like focus on like what's going to get them there. Like it's like people don't even have a thing that's just like, oh, I want to be rich. And it's like, but like, what are you going to do that makes you that way, first of all? Second of all, it's also like you should just focus on your own life. I mean, like, of course, like, obviously you can be successful, but like, it's just the fact that like no one wants to do anything at the end of the day. It's like people see like the rich people and they think like, oh, I can have a lifestyle where I just travel all the time and have like nice clothes for clout and all these cars and whatnot. And it's like, I understand, like, I don't want to do anything, but then again, I also don't want to be like as rich as them because that scares me.
Well, I
Like it's
never
scary.
want more money than I could ever spend. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Like I
I
would.
know, because it's like I just think like in general people should like, I don't know, focus on their own life rather than focusing on like other people's lives and morphing themselves into something that, they possibly won't get, because like why do you think there's only like, people never think to themselves, it's like, why do you think there's only like a 1%? That's like a very small, like, yes, it's a lot of people, but it's still a very, very small percentage. It's like, because not that there's not a lot of people that hold all the world's wealth, you know?
Yeah,
Like, and it's only the few that make it up there. And even so, it's like you can't make it there without stepping on top of other people and exploiting them for their money.
well, yeah,
Like, of
hoarding
course,
wealth
like,
and
but people don't
hoarding wealth,
understand that.
and every single one of them had to exploit and kill people, kill people. Jeff Bezos has killed people. You guys not directly, and that's like people are like, well, unless I see you like do the killing, then it didn't happen. But it's like people have died because of Jeff Bezos. People have died because of Elon Musk's family. Like Elon Musk's family are all colonizers. Like that's how he has his money. That's how he was able to accumulate wealth. Like it's just like bonkers. But how every single time we end up just like being like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, bad. Um, like okay, there's a bajillion. There's not a bajillion. There's a lot of big rich people that are bad. They're all bad, and that's all. Um, capitalism is so
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah. But
And
like, yeah.
we
I
always
just
every single time we get on this subject, it's all somehow connected to it.
Yeah. Well, like, because like there's so many things that can fall underneath like methods of activism and like wellness and taking care of yourself. Because like even like obviously capitalism is like political technically. So like, it's just like, in like I can understand, I hate saying it this way, escapism.
Oh yeah.
I hate saying it that way, even though that's literally how it's pronounced. I always say escapism because I just think it sounds better.
But that's not right.
I know that it's not right, but I always say it that way. And my mom is always like, you know that it's escapism, right? And I'm like, yeah, but it just sounds boring when you say it that way. So I always say escapism because it just sounds more dramatic. Anyway, escapism, no, escapism. I can understand escapism, but I don't know. It just seems very unrealistic at the same time. But then again, I can't dictate how people live their lives. So if that's a form of wellness that makes them feel better and imagining to be influencing and rich, I mean,
I
I don't know, but I will continue to fight against it. LOL.
my LOL.
LOL.
I love the just saying LOL out loud. I think connecting that something that I think is so important, and I wrote this down. Something that I think is so important in taking care of ourselves and protecting each other and being an advocate and being whatever an activist or whatever we want to call it, being a leftist particularly, is being able to like imagine. this is like being able to use your
empathy.
imagination is like a very important skill, and being able to use it not to imagine things that are currently happening, and like being like, if I was like Jeff Bezos, this is what my life would be. But being able to use your imagination to be like, this is what I want the world to look like. This is what I want to.
I think about it all the
World.
time.
Yeah,
World
and it's
domination.
a really important. I'm really glad you do that. I definitely don't do it enough. Like I want to start doing it more, but like
I
spending
do it
time.
every single hour, every second of every day, thinking about world domination. No, I'm just kidding. Just
But
kidding.
being able to be like, if, like the I like being able to be like
Yeah.
here's a,
You actually mentioned a great point. Not just like imagining things, but also like being empathetic towards like other people's causes. And I understand that it's very hard to like talk about like your privilege, like even when you're a part of like a minority community. But like there, like, even though like you may be oppressed, like you may be someone who also has more privilege than someone else in your group, you know? Like,
yeah.
it's like very important to like be empathetic to other people's causes, whether or not you're a part of a minority community, or yes, or a marginalized community.
Yeah,
Some people, yeah.
connecting like with
So
what I was saying about like imagination, like the hat keeps falling.
yeah, they go hand in hand. Yeah,
Yeah,
imagination,
yeah, exactly.
empathy,
Being
putting
able
yourself in each other's shoes.
to be able to imagine that other world, you need to understand what the world is like now. So it's like, yes, you do need to like educate yourself and be aware of things. Um, and but also like just being able to be like, these are the things that I don't like. This is how I would change them, and being able to take steps towards that. And like people always say small steps, but I don't really think that like that's necessary. We could just do the things. Like if we just decided like I don't want to do this anymore. Like capitalism is growth, and every single if we all just were like, yeah, capitalism is growth. What's up, guys? Like let's figure it out. And we just all were like, I'm not gonna do this anymore. We could just not do it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We could all just one day we could just be like, we could all just be like, start. We could just be like, $1 is now $5 million, and I'm gonna sell my house for $1, and somebody else could buy our.
Oh
We
my
could like
god.
completely
Trade food as
destroy the
payment.
market. Like that could just
If you
happen.
give me a sack of potatoes, I will literally give you Kit Kats. Payment.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I have lettuce, and I'm gonna sell it to you for
Lettuce.
this is
No. Oh
ridiculous.
god.
We
A
can do
home
stuff
cooked
like that.
meal.
Like it's like that. These are like you like use your imagination, use your skills. This is like what I always tell people. We all have skills. We all have a specific skill set of things that we actually enjoy doing. That's the thing. It's like activism, all of this is not sustainable unless we find ways to enjoy it, to be able to. I mean, that's why I think care is such an important part of it. Taking care of one another, like checking in with people, taking care of people, giving people hugs, give people hugs, like take care of one another if you want to. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'll give people hugs if other people don't want to do that. Like just like they like there are things that people everybody has a skill set. If your skill set is art, that's great. If your skill set is math stuff, that's great. All of it is important, and all of it can be applied into the work that people are doing. Like make connections with people. That is like so important. Like find people, like network. Like that's the only way to get things done is finding the people, navigating, organizing, and figuring out what different people can do. I mean, that's the things. That's the things. I
Yeah.
feel so bad. Why does this always happen to me? Every time you go live,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like there's definitely many things that we can all do, whether it's we need to do more or we should do less for mental health. We all have different things that we're good at, all different things that we're bad at. It's just
Yeah,
I don't
someone
know.
can take on the
It's
math. That's not gonna be me.
me either. I could do geometry since I am a spatial thinker. LOL.
LOL.
Leave me alone.
No, I love it. I'm not about disagreeing. LOL.
I like randomly started saying that now, like out loud, and I don't know, trademark. Oh, I almost said LOL.
um,
I yeah, I ugh, wellness. Ugh, that's something I could do more of. Wellness, mental health. I literally get nothing done, and I never know why.
I get
It's so
nothing done, and then I'm like
sad.
extremely stressed out. I'm
I
like,
know, but
and
like
work
I don't know why I
nonstop, and
don't
then I'm
do
like, nothing got done. I don't know how. Like,
I know.
I worked all day today. I worked all day yesterday. I worked all day the day before, and, and here's my to-do list.
Yeah.
But that's what we're talking about.
Yes, but yeah, wellness, everyone, is definitely key at the end of the day as well. Besides just overexhausting your activism, because I know that there's a period of burnout, of course. Actually, I'm not sure if I've ever discussed with other people like what to do during burnout. I feel like I've heard from maybe like one person, like one of my friends, like what they do, and I think they said that they delete Instagram and then they go back on. Yeah.
I think I think like the thing about that for me is I feel like sometimes people in like very privileged circumstances are like, I'm burnt out, I can't help anymore. And it's like, I don't think people realize that like the issues are still going on. Like you still
Yeah,
need.
no. Yeah, like no, my friend
No,
isn't like
I know
that.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just making an additional point. I agree with you. I'm just making an additional point. Like sometimes people like say that phrase and like don't know what it means.
Like
Um.
celebrities, LOL. Let's
Oh my
continue
god.
throwing them under the bus, literally.
They keep
Kidding,
yawning,
but
but I'm not
I'm
tired
not
of you.
kidding. But yeah, it's just yeah, like my friend was telling me that they usually delete Instagram and they do like other things that are helpful, like that are just not on Instagram with like
Yeah.
posting and like posting and posting and posting and doing all this other stuff. Like they then take time to focus on their mental health and they write and read as well as just I don't know. I think like some like their job because my friend like works with like my school votes I believe, although she's doing something separate now that's like kind of activism related, but that's like something a more example of it's like taking time to focus on that aspect of activism just like besides Instagram as well and just posting a bunch of things. um, that's always an interesting thing. I mean, obviously, not everyone can have a job where they like just do activism stuff. um, like there are other things that you can do or just help with. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I also that was really weird. That was really weird. But I think yeah, like not everyone can have a job in activism, but it's also like you can apply activism to anything you do, and like I think people get into this weird mindset around work that they're like, this is my job, I need to do whatever I'm told. And I'm like, no. Sometimes when like you see a mom, like when you're working at a grocery store and you see a mom like struggling to buy like baby formula, maybe just put the baby formula in the bag and don't scan it. Like like don't follow the you don't follow
Be incognito.
the talking about this with my
It's on the
mom,
house,
and
ma'am.
we were talking about like city people like taking homeless people's stuff, and I have gotten in so many arguments with city people. Like literally, I've been getting in arguments with them since I was in middle school. When I was in middle school, I was like at like the park in front of the library. I don't know if you can really call it a park. It's like a patch of grass. And they were like taking a bunch of homeless people stuff. Anyway, I got in an argument with this guy and I told him to F off. And then I got in trouble. Not with my mom. My mom was cool with it, but I got in trouble with one of my teachers. And I was like, he was taking their water. Like,
Taking their water?
Well,
What?
the city people yes, hello. This is my PSA. People in the city of Tucson like hires people. They call them like landscapers and they call them all of these things. They call them like cleanup crews, but really what they do is they go and they take all the homeless people's stuff. And like really like you when you they go and pick up all their stuff and then they're like, oh, it's trash, but it was like literally like people's clothes, food, water,
Oh
um,
wow.
like jugs of water and stuff. Yeah, and yeah, so the city of Tucson does a lot of things like that. That's also why like at parks they have like sprinklers in random areas where there like is even like like they like just spray random places at random times, including in the middle of the night, so that people and their stuff get wet and they leave. Just recently, Armory Park. I think it's Armory Park. No,
That's so messed up. I mean,
somewhere they like marked off a specific area to like put something there, but like it was like where people were staying. They also like held like a meeting recently where they were like, what do people want to put in this part of the park? And anyway, a group that I'm a part of like answered their survey and stuff, but then they didn't bring enough surveys for people to answer. So they were like, yes, people want a park here. People want a playground here. Even though it was like a park that homeless people were staying in. Anyway, city of Tucson sucks. The city of Tucson is incredibly gentrified. All of the downtown area was extremely gentrified. They literally bulldozed an entire Mexican neighborhood to build the Tucson Convention Center.
oh yeah, the barrio. Yeah.
And they also and then all of those houses now are like $1 million houses that are like left there, um, and no brown people live there anymore. That's an exaggeration, but and also like the city of Tucson poisoned um, like all of the brown people that lived in South Tucson with their water, and then didn't do anything about it for years. People got extremely sick. People got like cancer and stuff, and who knows how many people died. And the city of Tucson did not do anything until rich white people started reporting that they were not feeling well, and then they checked, and there was runoff from the airplanes because they weren't properly disposing there, and it was getting into the reservoirs where they would like yeah. So the city of Tucson has a lot of horrible history.
Oh, when the government tries to kill off POC.
My little nuggets of information today. Yeah,
Just a PSA.
I hate the government. No, I didn't say that. They're listening. I didn't say that. I love that. um, I'm like all over the place. Okay, we're like almost out of time. I'm gonna like quickly go through the things on my list that I didn't.
I bet our FBI agents are really enjoying our
Yeah.
podcast. Jim,
Did you hear about that thing about like the police having a presentation of like youth? It was like youth activists and stuff that they like give to cops so that they like know who to.
wait, what?
You didn't hear about this? Okay.
No. What?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. The city, it was like recently on like social media but like that it was like public record. So like people they like a group of activists like requested this. I don't know, I saw it all over Instagram. Group of young activists locally requested this information and basically they have a presentation that has like young activists pictures, like vehicles, what they would like, what they have done.
Oh my god! So that they know, like, just so what? So they can harass and beat them, like
yes.
them.
I'm
oh
like,
my, like
I'm
here or like
nationwide.
nationwide? Oh my god! No, thank you.
Anyway, back to
My
taking care of each
FBI
other and
agents
like good
sort this
stuff.
out.
The things that I mean, we didn't really get to speak on like how to speak up and step back and taking up space and like all of that. But that's a thing. I mean, that's a thing that I think like it's just like practice. Like I think you just need to use your common sense. Like
Yeah. I mean, like,
some people do not have that. Use your common sense,
yeah,
figure it out. Like
yeah.
it's like
I
moment
mean,
to moment thing to me.
yeah. I mean, of course, like speaking up and stepping back, like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people just speak up anyway, and it's only like when like they're called out or like someone tells them that like, it's not your place to say that. I feel like then people then also step back. But like I was saying earlier with like telling other like POC or just other marginalized groups like what to do like like for your marginalized group, like,
Mm-hmm.
or like when you talk about, or when you're talking about an issue that doesn't really affect you in that way or affects you like way less than it does other people, and you act as if it affects you completely. It's also just like, why don't you take a look at the room, see where you are, and think to yourself, does this issue affect me more than the people that surround me?
Absolutely. That's yes. That's like the number. Gauge the room. Like if you're in a
Yeah.
room of like people of color and the subject comes up like of
That's
racism,
like if, yeah.
step
Yeah.
back.
That's
Step.
like
That's
if
a
I was
step
in a
back moment.
room. Yeah, it's like if it's almost as it's like as an example, it would be as if it would be like if I was in a room full of like visibly black people, cuz like I mean obviously that's my community, but I don't look that way. So like if I were in a room speaking about that, racism doesn't affect me, and I know that, and I'm not saying that in like a very, I don't mean to say it in like a weird way of like being whatever. But like I would be there to, instead of like, but like it wouldn't be an area like for me to speak on that because I know that it doesn't affect me. It would be like I'm there to listen to you so I then know like what I could do better or what I could do more of, rather than like, taking up the space and being like, well, my family and blah blah blah, but that doesn't affect me. Like I worry because I do have like my immediate family is visibly black. I
Mhm.
worry all the time, like when they go out like just by themselves, like I worry all the time. But at the same time, I can't speak to that because I don't experience that myself. you know like I may experience like if I go out by myself in a different way because like I'm a woman, but alone. But I can't like speak on like racism as if it affects me deeply when I know that it doesn't. you know like you
Yeah,
know
and I think
it's important to realize that
yeah,
like there is privilege that you may have that you may not recognize, but you should learn to recognize it and know when to speak in situations like that.
and like intersectionality, like we talked about before, like intersections of um, privilege and stuff. Anyway, but also and also like I can wow, I just had a full thought in my head and it just um oh, what I was gonna say is I think the exclusion of that is like if there was a white person in that space who came in and started saying things like that were not cool, being like, you need to leave, like, get out. Like, I think that that would be the role of, like, either a white person or somebody who has more.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah,
You know what I
sorry.
mean?
I
And
only
that's
mentioned
not your
that.
time.
Yeah, I mentioned that scenario just to say as like an
No,
example
I agree.
because, like, yeah, so like
No,
that would be an example
I
of
was,
when to not say stuff or like step in and just like read the room.
yeah, I
And
wasn't
like,
disagreeing. I was completely
yeah,
agreeing. I was
no,
just
yeah,
adding
yeah,
on, like, I
yeah,
like
yeah,
like I think the exclusions are defending people. Like, I know so many people in privilege who just don't say anything when those things come up, and like that's like a thing, and they're like, well, I'm anxious or I'm like whatever, and like that's something that like again practice, like practicing being. I mean, there will be so many times in all of our lives when we hear things that are like, and like being able to practice, like being like, hey, let's talk about that because that's
yeah,
not okay.
yeah,
Is really important.
yeah.
Okay, let me. Okay, Google is your friend. What I wrote, okay, Google is your friend, but learn to engage in deeper conversations and find out what people need. I feel like sometimes people are like, oh, well, I can't talk about these things with people. Like, I can't talk about, like, I don't know, gender with a trans person because they told me I should Google it. Like, you need to also learn how to have conversations with people when they are like up for it. Like, I think that's an important skill. Being able to have uncomfortable conversations, being able to
Yeah,
be
ask people if they're comfortable, like,
yeah,
speaking
I wouldn't
about
bring
that.
it up. I wouldn't be like, you're trans. Let's talk
Yeah.
about that. I would like to ask you a bunch of questions that'll make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trans and this happened to me and it sucks. Being able to,
Yeah.
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. And don't get upset with people if they don't feel comfortable speaking about it.
And don't get
And
upset with people
yeah.
if they are uncomfortable or if they say I don't like that or I don't.
Or
Like,
how about you look it up?
people
LOL.
need to practice. Like, people need to practice consent in all relationships. Like, and that needs to be a thing. Like, being able to set boundaries in all relationships. It's a thing that people need to practice. And nobody's expecting anybody to be like perfect at everything all the time. But consent and boundaries are a thing that everybody needs to practice. People are like that. People get anxious, get freaked out by that stuff, but like it's like a thing that makes everybody uncomfortable, everybody anxious, that everybody needs to do in practice in all relationships. And that's my little like sex educator like brain coming out. I'm literally sitting next to like a pile of condoms from my work. That's like literally all that's next to me. It's just like a pile of condoms. Anyway, I love my job. Anyway, deeper conversations. Don't be fooled by corporations, organizations, and the government on what we need. I already said that. Be your unassimilated self. That was one that I had like of like not like allies because there's enough resources for allies. What we need to do as like people like not be like, oh, these are the stereotypes that exist in the world, so I'm gonna not be any of those things. Being able to be like, I'm gonna be myself. I'm me personally, I'm like very queer. I self-identify as a fag. Like, that's just who I am. I'm flamboyant. That's who I am. I'm queer in all sense of the word, and like that, like being able to not assimilate and being able to be who I am is very important. It's important for people of all different, minorities to be able to do that, be able to be who they are, be able to do whatever they want, and not. I mean, other people will see that and be inspired to do it themselves. That is like an important thing that is like, just do it. Like, easier said than done, but being able to do that is like self-care. It's care for our community. It's care. It's a form of protecting our computer, our our community. Jeez, jeez. Yeah, that was my next one. Boom. Um, Being able to like stand between threats and minorities. Like, if you see something going on, like, don't leave people alone. That kind of stuff. Learn some self defense stuff. Learn how to protect other people. Do the work to be able to help other people. You know, that's my next one. And then teach other people what you learn. Um, be willing to learn things. Have conversations. Having conversations with people is like such an important thing. Hanging out with people. Go hang out with somebody and talk about these things. They will. People surprise you. People teach you things all the time when you have conversations with them. That's why Melora and I sit here every week, or not every week. That's why Melora and I sit here every once in a while, every 2 weeks, maybe.
Once in a while.
Once in a while, twice a month, maybe,
Yeah.
twice a month, maybe. And we have these conversations because we learn from each other. When we talk, we realize things. Every time you're talking and you say things, and then my brain is like, connection. Here's a thing, and then we like,
Indeed, indeed. The way our minds just sink.
Well, we're not time. Do you have anything else from your list that you didn't
No, I think I think I'm all good. I mean, if we want to do like our closing thoughts, if we're over time, I think we always go over time.
I mean, I think that what I said is my closing thought. Like,
Okay, yeah. I
I
mean, yeah, that did kind of sound very closing. I don't know
right.
why
I
I
bet
didn't
you did
really
one.
catch that. I,
And I have to pee
yeah,
so bad.
yeah.
My self care right now is gonna be
Is
go pee.
yes, emptying bladders.
And
Yes,
empty your bladder so you don't get
regularly, so you don't get a kidney infection.
a kidney infection, a UTI, a whole lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I there you go.
Yes,
Um,
yeah,
I
and yeah, ugh, I think another thing is that
mean,
besides, go- I should do this definitely more often, but besides reading articles and going on Google, there are like shows and documentaries that you can watch as well so that you can understand
and live
like
streams.
yes. No, like of course, like there's just so many different things you can watch. Like you can watch Us, you can watch like
Us,
documentaries,
also us.
Us. Yes, you can watch Us. Other you can listen to other podcasts like that you want to like learn with that are about stuff that you want to like hear more or learn about more. Like, besides Us. I mean, we're great, but yeah.
Yeah,
they're like, there are
yes,
other things out there that you can also utilize that you don't have to like read. You can like listen, you can watch, like I said, like shows, like literally regular TV shows, like documentaries, all that other type of stuff, documentary TV shows. I mean, they're all the things. You can watch clips on Instagram or like other platforms that you want to watch stuff on. You can listen to music that's about activism and just
yeah.
other things. Like there's just so many things that you can do. I think the best thing surrounding this topic is at the end of the day, understand your privilege. LOL.
LOL. That's the
Yes.
end.
Understand your privilege and like how you are in a space and how you show up to a space. Whether it's like, and just take a look at your surroundings. Like obviously, like don't like weirdly like, if you're not just because you're not racist or homophobic or transphobic or just whatever in one space but you are in another, that doesn't automatically cancel out stuff. You're still racist, homophobic, transphobic, whatever, all that things, even if you don't show it in one space, like,
Yeah. Work on your
so
shit. That's
yeah,
that's it.
work
That's
on
it.
yourself,
Everybody's
work
got
on your
things
privilege,
in mind
recognize it.
that they need to filter out and like figure out, and
They
you
need
got
to
to
get
work
it
on
through
that.
their thick skulls.
We've all got
Oh
jobs we got to do. These
yes.
we aren't taking enough.
Yes.
We're not seeing these as things that we
Yes.
need to do.
Yeah.
Taking care of yourself, taking care of other people, taking care of your community,
Yeah.
being a
We
good person. That's
yeah, we
it.
are
That's the
yeah, like
end.
exactly, like
Be a good person
we are constantly changing, constantly evolving,
and
like there are
constantly
just so
learning.
many things.
Be
But
willing to
yeah,
constantly be learning. Be willing to be corrected. All the things.
there's so many closing things we could say, but
Make
since we've
make
said most of
mistakes. Go ahead and do this.
them, yeah.
Make mistakes because that's how we learn.
Yes.
So bad. All right.
Yes. Since
Yay.
we said more than we needed to. LOL.
Absolutely.
No.
We said the same like 10 things over and over again. And we're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
To conclude our very long closing statements, yeah.
Yeah.
LOL. No.
LOL. Yeah. That's it.
Yes. Catch us
Bye,
on our
everyone.
last. We have. Oh wait. We should say something about our last one
Oh,
because
yeah.
our next one is our. So okay, yeah. So our final closing
Yeah.
statement. We are having, unfortunately, Teen Revolt will be coming to an end in the next couple of weeks. I think, actually, we should probably talk to Ari about that at the end. But yeah, I know that it's definitely going to be on in the next couple of weeks, but we'll be like reflecting on Teen Revolt as a whole. And I believe we're also going to be doing an interview. So that kind of plays into reflection on that. But yes, catch us on our next last Teen
26.
Revolt live. The 26th.
The
The day before my birthday, everyone.
Day before your birthday. Noted.
Yes.
It's noon to 1 per usual.
LOL.
Noon-ish to 1-ish. We're like totally over again. We're
always over.
all right. That's it. That's it. That was it.
Yeah.
LOL.